Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Strom. Today I wanted to show what I've been working on for a no perimeter looting witch farm. So just a quick disclaimer here before we get into this. I have invented jack squat in this, okay? This is a compilation of a bunch of different techniques I've learned all over the place. I'm going to put down in the video description links to a bunch of stuff you can check out if you're really interested in what's going on here. I highly recommend that you check that out. In fact, especially if you want to do this. In fact, I'm going to put all those links above the world download and Lightmatic for this. But what I wanted to set out to do was having a nice mid-game witch farm that I can still use looting on to get things like redstone and gunpowder out of without having to do the perimeter. Sometimes I'm not ready to do a perimeter with the materials. I'm not ready mentally to do the perimeter with the project time, but still just want to increase the drops out of the witch farm now. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough. Again, remember, I didn't invent any of these techniques. I learned these all online, but I'm going to go through what I used here to get this, and then we can review. This is a early beta version. I'm going to try this out, but I ran this out for about 10 hours, a little over 10 hours, using the Carpet Mods Tick Warp, and we're going to review some of those numbers that came out of it after I do a little bit of review of this. Now, one of the earliest witch hut designs that I learned was a design that now I have learned actually came from a user called Fast Jazz. I'm not going to mention the name of where I originally learned it in a tutorial when I looked it up, but I have that one on my servers, and I just wanted to see if I could add some looting onto it. And obviously, you can't just stand right below the farm because now suddenly you have to worry about spawn proofing every single cave in the area, and every single update they add, that just gets harder and harder and harder. So the entire premise of this, what I want to do is bring the witches up to an AFK player who is far enough away so that you didn't have to dig out a perimeter, and then be able to kill those witches with looting. I'm going to go ahead and use Carpet Mod to just spawn in a bot here and set it up to attack so that I can show this actually working in spectator mode. All right, let's give the bot a looting sword, set it to attack. And then let me go into spectator and take a look at this. So what I'm using here is a shifting floor design to get the witches out of the witch hut spawning area. This is something I learned from Ilmago's channel, and I will put that down in the video description below with some links. But basically inside here we just have alternating concrete and soul sand, and that soul sand being a little bit shorter than the concrete means that when the concrete comes, the witches glitch through there. And then they fall all the way through, down through each floor into this waterway. The waterway pushes them into this waterway, which centralizes them. They then get pushed on top of some magma blocks. Now, witches at that point will drink a fire potion, so they won't take really any serious damage from that, but I'm doing that so that we can reset their despawn timer, because initially I was having a lot of witches despawn before they actually got up to the player. They're getting pushed through this water chute, and then they're getting pushed right into the bubble column. And this technique right here, if I can stop correctly, is something that Glotz showed me on stream. I'm not sure who invented this, but this was during Glotz's stream. He showed me this setup to force them right into the bubble column so that they're not waiting to cram each other in there, and we don't have more witches spawning, or excuse me, despawning while they're waiting to go up. They then go up the bubble column, where they get dropped in front of the player or the bot that is swinging away with the looting sword. I probably could have added some more height onto this to give the witches more falling damage as they came down, so they were a one-hit kill. However, I was noticing that some of them were drinking potions already by the time they were coming up, taking damage from falling through the shifting floor. And also, I figured I'd not go high enough because we're not hitting mob caps. As you can see, we're usually hovering around that 25 mark, sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little lower. But since I'm not hitting mob cap, I figured, what's the real point? It doesn't really matter how fast we kill them here. You're getting plenty of XP in order to be able to kill them off before they even become close to a problem. At that point, it's just putting everything into a standard sorter. So here I'm going to turn on the despawn sphere and show there's very little ground area that needs to be spawn proofed in order to get this up. So I just ran around with some torch spam. but it still leaves no area underground in which there are spawning spaces for any other mobs. A couple of other things I learned was about the height mapping, and so I made some changes there to increase the height map and kind of manipulate that to get more witches spawning in the farm. And these height map things were things I learned about. Glot started teaching me about it in his Discord, and then pointed me also to Logical Geek Boy and Methods and Nenbomb videos. I'm going to put some links for those down in the description. If you guys are unaware of what the height map is, it drastically changes the way that you may think about mob spawning, because it sure did for me. It was nothing like I thought it was. So the three things I did to help with that were, one, I added on the slab roof that extends out the side so that we can get a chance for spawning out to the side, and then pack spawning moves into the farm. I replaced the walls of the farm after I did that, because now the light level is gone, with stairs, so that these blocks would keep in the witches, but at the same time it wouldn't stop any of the pack spawning algorithm. And then I also moved the bubble column out. Initially, this was right next to the farm, and they were going straight up. But I moved that over here so that the extra height map over here wouldn't affect what was going on under here. So I have seen some people talking about using the detection system with tripwire and strings, and that's what I was initially working with. But like I said, for me, witches just were getting stuck too often, and so then, I was told you could do a combination of the clock and the detection system, but at the end of the day I just went with the clock. These witches are falling through fast enough, and in fact we could probably even speed this clock up. But really, this video wasn't for, hey, this is a finished project. I was learning a lot of stuff throughout the middle of this project, and so I just wanted to make this video as kind of a learning process. And if anyone who's watching this has suggestions or ideas of what changes can be made, what improvements can be made, I am more than happy to hear those ideas. Put those down in the comments. You can find me on Discord, find me on Twitch, etc. And then we also have the regen beacon so that the player can be in survival and you can just AFK with a clicker, not worry about starving to death, because this is hard mode. Alternatively, if you weren't purely AFKing it, you could just set up a script every once in a while, eat a carrot or a golden apple or whatever kind of food you have in the game, and then keep swinging away at those witches. So that's the design of it all. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. As we can see here, I did a run for 600 minutes, so 10 hours. And this, to me, looks like some pretty decent numbers for the build effort that goes into this. I mean, your biggest thing is that, bubble column with the glass, and you have some observers and some powered rails. Other than that, very easily obtainable blocks in the early to mid game. Kind of the most expensive thing is going to be that looting on your sword, but again, mid-game, definitely not super early game. Here are the spawn statistics. Again, this is from Carpet Mod, so 605 minutes. We had 18,500 witch spawns, so that's an average of 1839 per hour. When I originally started this with just bringing the witches up to the player before I really learned about that height mapping and added in the roof, the numbers weren't as good. I was only getting about, let me look here, about 1,200 witches per hour. Now, at this point, I added in the extended slab roof, and it took it up to 1,600. And then I added in some more things. I made the clock faster, added in those stair walls, brought the bubble vader over further, and then we got up to that number that we're at now. So that's the design. Thank you so much for checking it out. Again, I'm not going to call this my design because I don't really feel like I've invented anything here, but I wanted to share it in case there were others out there like me who you may have another perimeter planned, or just not having the time to do the perimeter, and you've got another redstone project you want to get done. You need to build the redstone, or you just need to get a witch farm going, or whatever the reason may be. Maybe you don't like perimeters. Maybe you don't like digging. Maybe you like hand digging them. Whatever the case may be, I don't even know if anyone else is going to use this, but I think I am, because I can definitely think of many instances where I just wanted to increase my redstone output from a farm and didn't have the option to. So there will be a world download and a Lightmatic file down in the description. Again, I do not claim to have invented these tactics. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.